got my air conditioner on?
I don't hear anything.
Okay.
All right. So today we got Vinny Galanti. Vinny Galanti is an IFBB pro bodybuilder, and he has a tremendous comeback story. What's up, Vin?
How you doing? Thank you so much for inviting me.
Oh, of course. Thanks for taking it. As I talked about right before we started, the reason why having you on is special to me is because in the 90s, I used to work out in a gym in Staten Island called Pump and Iron Gym. And it was really difficult to get your pro card. So if you were on the cusp of getting it, everybody would talk about it. You didn't even have to go to that gym. It was like, you were in a different state and people were talking about it. And the three names were Jason Arns, Dave Palumbo, Vinny Galanti. Those are the three names everybody talked about. And when I started my podcast, I said, all right, there's the three guys I have to get on are Jason Arns, Dave Palumbo, Vinny Galanti. And you were the third one. You finished the trilogy.
Well, thank you. Thank you.
Yeah, no problem, man.
Yeah, it was different back then. The mindset was different. Today guys and women brag that they're qualified. And, if you walked into Pump and Iron or Diamond Gym back in the 90s and bragged that you qualified for the nationals by losing, you were kicked out of the gym.
Yeah,
you were laughed at. You were just laughed at.
Yeah, it was a joke.
Yeah, you were considered a joke.
And if you're an IFBB pro, those guys would let you work out for free because that's how special it was.
Yeah, now there's like 1,000 pros.
Right.
Pros don't even know who they are. Like a pro doesn't even know another pro.
Right.
That's how watered down.
Exactly. Yeah. So you almost turned pro in the 90s. Why don't you give us a rundown of how it went down? I do know that you won the what was it? The one in Vegas they have every year. You did win
USA.
You did win the USA. I apologize. I had a brain fart there. And then why don't you tell us what happened? You can start from the beginning.
From the beginning?
From your because in the 90s you were a name. You were a big name, man.
So back in the day, all right. So the John Kemper Classic used to be called the Suburban Bodybuilding Championships.
Okay.
And when John, the chairman of New Jersey, who owned Diamond Gym, passed away, they renamed the show to the Kemper Classic. I got so many backstories to like all the things I'm about to tell you. So
it's all right.
I ended up winning the middleweight and overall novice Suburban in '89, and that like catapulted me, put me right on the map. And I had no idea what I was getting myself into because before that, I competed, but I competed more for the girls, for the hanging out, like, going on the beach, things like that. I didn't know I was capable of having a career. I didn't even think of it. So when I won the Suburban, a lot was thrown at me with like little sponsorships and stuff and little companies. And I didn't handle it too well right in the beginning because that wasn't my mindset. And in 1990, I went to the Jersey. I took 10th, and it kind of like sparked me. Like I had that maybe year or two of like, okay, I grew up a little bit. I took it more serious, and I took the 91 Jersey very serious. And I ended up winning my weight class, and then a week later winning the middleweight class at the Junior USA.
Wow.
Yeah. So when I went, so it was awesome. The contest was in the Junior USA was in California, and I got to rub elbows with everybody that weekend. Like I met everybody from Flex Wheeler, Cormier, Sean Ray, and the following year I ended up winning. I don't want to say end up winning, but I won the USA, and the contest was back in California. And I have to, just to back up for a second. I have to give credit to, I don't even know if he's in the industry anymore, but I have to give credit to Jason Mathis, because when I won the Junior USA, and there's a political side to every aspect of the sport, and so nobody knew who I was at the time, and the photographers didn't really pay attention. Even though I won, they were picking people who were a name, so I wasn't a name yet. And Jason was just getting into the industry, and it was, I'll never forget it. It was like 7:00 on a Tuesday night at Gold's Gym. And I actually just went there to buy some t-shirts.
Right.
And yeah, I was just going to go buy some t-shirts before I left to go home the next day. And he's like, "Hey, did you do any photo shoots?" I'm like, "No, I didn't do anything." He goes, "You want to do one right now?" I'm like, "Right now?" He said, "I've been eating. I've been off. It's Tuesday. I've been eating." He's like, No. It's all good. We'll just do some like arm work." And then got a photo shoot out of it. And I got some magazine coverage from it, which was great. He put me on the map with that. Yeah. I was in the right place at the right. My whole career I've been in the right place at the right time.
Okay.
With a lot of work behind it. So, but we'll get into it. And I just recently spoke with Mike Christian on social media, so I don't think he'll get mad at this, because I asked him.
Please tell him I've been trying to contact him because I want him on the show.
Okay.
I've been hitting him up on Instagram and Facebook, and when I hit him up and I just put a comment, I go, yeah. He goes, yeah. Tell me when, I'll be there. So then I go check your DMs, and I DM him, and I could tell he never checks his DMs. Yeah, I don't know. Yeah. See if you could get him, because
I'll reach out to him,
because he had some reputation back in the day. He was one bad motherfucker back in the day.
Yeah. So I'm doing a photo shoot with Jason this was Tuesday night, or maybe it was a Thursday night, whatever. And Mike Christian walks into the gym. It's like 9:00 at night, and he literally just got out of the cab from jail.
Yeah. He's like, he was a bad dude, man.
I needed to come back to the gym first before I went anywhere else. And that was the first time I ever met Mike. And he's always been a solid guy with me. Every time I met him, very nice guy.
Didn't he knock out one of the Barbarian brothers? There's a story that he knocked out one of the Barbarian brothers in Gold's Gym. I don't know
about that.
So go ahead. I
don't know. Yeah. So I met him that night and did my photo shoot, and he was so happy, and to talk about bodybuilding. And I just went home and didn't really think of what was going to happen next. I never thought of anything, but all right, I'm going to do the USA next year, and I'm going to have a great off season, blah, blah, blah. And about 3-4 months later, friends were calling me, you're in muscular development. You're in Muscle Mag, because it was Muscle Mag International, Muscular Development.
I remember.
And it was Muscle Training Illustrated. Nobody probably remembers that one.
Yeah,
MTI. Yeah, that was way before your time. So I started coming out in these magazines, and it was cool, to see myself in a magazine. And it pumped me up for the USA. And when I got to the USA and I won it, it was really fortunate that I had met everybody the year before, because I had a chance, you hear all these stories about some of these guys, and, you might catch somebody on a bad day and you say, that's the way he is. But, somebody might catch me on a bad day and say, Vinny Galanti's a dick.
Right.
But, that's not me. That's just, I'm just having a bad day or something. So I catch up with Sean Ray, and Sean Ray was probably, if we spoke a handful of times, but Sean Ray was probably the first person to ever talk to me about the business end of bodybuilding.
Oh, that's good.
So when I won the USA, he said, milk this title. You can get so many guest posings from it. And so what I did was I wrote to every magazine. Actually, it was going back before I won the Junior USA. When I won the Junior, I think when I won the Junior USA, I wrote to every magazine out there, because we didn't have the internet. We didn't have nothing.
Right.
I have a real written letter. There was no emails. There was nothing like that. Didn't exist yet. It wasn't invented. And that blows my mind to think about how far.
Yeah. You actually had to physically write a letter and mail it with a stamp.
Yeah, exactly. So I wrote these letters to all the magazines, and I heard nothing. Got to the USA, and it was really fortunate that just by winning, I was able to get a lot of magazine coverage, actually. And so by going out of my way to write to the magazines, and all of a sudden it was just like a floodgate. They respected what I did. And every year that I competed in the NPC Nationals, which I hate when people fucking say the Miami Nationals, because it's not Miami Nationals. It's the fucking NPC Nationals. Get it right. Stop fucking up the sport's name. The number one title in the sport.
That's
is
right.
The NPC Nationals. So the NPC Nationals were, for 2 years in a row, were always in different like, New Orleans, Texas, I think Las Vegas. I can't remember all the places I've been to, but they always rotated. And so every year I would contact about 15 photographers and let them know that after the Nationals, on my own dime, I did it as an investment, because this is the way I looked at it. It was a business. Mm-hmm. So I invested in myself. I gambled on myself that I'm going to fly out to California. I'm going to stay at a hotel for a few days and have all these magazine shoots. And it worked every single year, where I get about maybe from 3 to 7, and depending upon who booked with the photographer before I did. Mm-hmm. But I had a lot of good coverage. And
how old are you during this time?
My 20s.
Oh, what were you doing for a living back then?
So originally, I was working for the Jersey City Parking Authority. Mm-hmm. And I was miserable,
No, of course.
I don't want to be there. And for the USA, I was working, working in the streets.
I got
you. Parking authority and stuff, and doing pipes for parking meters and fences for the parking lots and all that stuff.
Oh, when you said working in the streets, I thought you meant the other way. All right, never mind.
Yeah.
That's why I said I got you. Okay.
Yeah. I know,
because a lot of guys did. A lot of guys did. I mean, I
can hand on my heart and hand to God, I've never done any of that shit.
All right, good,
I had a full-time job the whole time.
The whole time.
I've always had a full-time job. Mm-hmm. So yeah, I just magazine coverages every year, and I went from any given year from 2nd to 5th, from 1994 to 2001. No, 2000 and 2001. I don't remember. So long ago.
Right.
It took me 16 years to turn pro.
Jeez.
And when I turned pro,
what year was that?
2008. I won the light heavyweight in the overall, the Masters Nationals.
And you were competing. You were competing this whole time. It was nonstop.
There were a couple of periods where I stopped because I thought I was never gonna. I got to a point where I did not want to eat out of Tupperware anymore.
Oh yeah, definitely.
I got to a point where it's like, oh man, I took second again, or took third again, and then I'd see the guy who won the Nationals never stepped foot on a pro stage, and it was getting aggravating.
Yeah, that's how it was back then, man. I mean, it was no joke. Like when you won and you went into the pros, it was like starting all over again.
Yeah. People today don't understand how hard it was back then.
Yeah. It was back then. And when you turned pro, it was like, welcome to the NFL from college ball.
It was like welcome to the NFL from high school.
Oh, it was that bad? Okay.
Yeah. You had like I remember. Here's a story. I was just recently telling one of my guys that I trained, that a few years ago he didn't want to train with me because I told him the truth, and now he's an even better bodybuilder. He's going into the Nationals this coming USA in a week. Awesome. When I was in the audience with his friends, I said, he's good. He's not going to win today because he's against great competitors. And and the competitors here today are, I think this was at the Atlantic States in Jersey. And I said, they're great here. But when they get to the USA and the Nationals, they're fucking amazing. It's another level. You guys don't understand. And they're like, oh, you're just a hater. I'm like, no, I'm not a hater.
It's the truth.
I
know.
So, yeah, so I got my pro card. So here's a story that you will absolutely love, and I think your listeners will love this story. And here's the mindset of the 90s. I wanted the national title, not the pro card. The pro card was like irrelevant to me. Mm-hmm. Did I want to be an IFBB pro? Absolutely. Did I want to get on stage at the Night of the Champions, which most guys don't even know what the hell that is today?
Yeah, sure.
Did I want to step foot on the Olympia stage? Yeah, but I was so programmed to win the nationals that when I got to the Masters Nationals and won and got my pro card, it didn't even hit me that I was a pro. Yeah. And I had a conversation on the phone with Bob Ciccarillo.
Sure.
A couple of days later, and we were talking, and he was congratulating me. And I said, "No, Bob, I'm not taking my pro card. I'm doing the nationals in November." He's like, "Are you crazy?"
Yeah.
Like, "No, I want to win the nationals." He's like, "Vin, you're a professional. You're an IFBB pro. Welcome to the pros."
Right.
And that's when it hit me, and I actually started crying.
Wow.
Because it just was like it just overwhelmed me. Like, holy shit, I'm an actual pro. Yeah. But then, I'm extremely, extremely hard on myself. Mm-hmm. So when I entered the first couple of years of my pro shows, it just kept getting worse and worse and worse. My condition was worse every contest I went into because I tried so hard. But at the same time, I thought the guys that I competed against were looking at me in a lesser way. Like I got my pro card from the back door, not from the nationals. Mm-hmm. So I put a lot of pressure on myself, and every contest I did in the pros, I went from being pretty good to sucking ass in my last show. And the 2013 New York Pro, I looked horrible.
You know, it's just the mindset. You know, the truth of the matter is, today's young athletes, they'll take however they can get a pro card, whether it's Masters coming in second, whether it's winning the overall, whether it's coming in second in your division. It's just the fact that you came from the 90s and it was like, no, the only way to turn pro is to win. But that's just not the case anymore, right? Yeah. We see people getting their pro card in Masters all the time. I mean, I think
which is fine. Listen, I have nothing against anybody getting their pro card at the Masters.
Yeah. Donna Sterling just got her pro card and she's 56 years old.
I love Donna. I mean, yeah. Donna's badass hardcore as much as I am. And we've talked through the last couple of years. Mm-hmm. I bounced stuff off of Donna, with my comeback and her as well. And, hats off to Donna for sticking with it. And, she's a product of the generation that will never be seen again.
That's right.
I mean, it was just, things were different all across the board. But yeah, so even my friends thought, are you nuts? Turn pro. And for me, I look back and I do this all the time. I fuck with my head all the time. I look back at the 2008 IFBB calendar, and I keep seeing that the Tampa Pro was 2 weeks after I turned pro. Mm-hmm. And I kicked myself in the ass for not doing it. I kicked myself in the ass for not doing it. But the sport had changed so drastically at that point. Mm-hmm. That I wasn't able to contact any photographers, because back in the 90s, you could go get a photo shoot for free. Okay. You don't pay for it.
Right.
The magazines paid for paid the photographer when they sold the pictures that they took. So they were freelance photographers. So now when I contacted everybody, nobody cared. Nobody cared that I turned pro. And I was trying to pitch the story. It took me 16 years to turn pro. I'm one of the old guys. I'm one of the OGs here. You're not even interested, and nobody was interested. Nobody cared. I was like a little down, and so I kept plugging away for like a week or two, and I stayed in shape. I didn't change anything. I kept on my diet, and I got a phone call from. Then all of a sudden, it was the floodgates open. Flex, Muscle and Fitness, Ironman, and I think Muscular Development. There's another magazine. So all four of them contacted me pretty much the same time. And it wasn't until 6 weeks after the Masters Nationals that anything anyone sees that was in the publications back in 2008, that was 6 weeks after. I had to hold my condition, and I wasn't even thinking about competing. I should have. I totally should have, because I wasn't thinking that I was a pro yet. It wasn't in my head.
Listen, after 16 years, it's it's extremely difficult
to change your mindset.
Process. Yeah, it's extremely difficult to process, of course. So go ahead.
No, so I did the photo shoots, and then fast forward, it was just like a 7-year bad luck run. Just everything. I mean, everything fell apart for me, from personal life to my gym, my career, to everything. And it ended up
in 2008 when you turned pro. How old were you?
41.
Okay, go ahead.
Yeah, I was 41, and thinking at 41 you're done. Like, you're done.
Right.
There's no way you're going to improve anymore, and there's no way you're not going to compete. Like, that's it. You're done.
Right.
There's no starting all over again. And when I retired in 13, I was 46 or 47. I think 47, 46. And I picked up. In all of this, I was very fortunate to be under contract, a real paying contract with Universal Nutrition / Animal. I was with them for 18 years.
That's fantastic, man.
Yeah, I was very blessed, very fortunate that I was able to be with them.
Did you wind up ever doing photo shoots with Centopani and any of the other animal guys, Frank McGrath and so on and so forth?
Yeah, we did some stuff together, but they put me more with once Animal started to take off. Frank and Evan were way bigger than I am. I'm a smaller bodybuilder comparatively. So they wanted Animal to be more mass. I'm more universsul.
Yeah.
I was more a streamlined,
symmetrical,
like a classic competitor.
Right.
Back then. So, yeah, I was blessed, man. I had a good run with them, and I got to travel the world and travel around and get on covers of magazines and just do my thing and get paid, and it was great. I loved it. Yeah.
So now after 41, you turned pro. You said you had like a bad run. You don't have to talk about your private life if you don't want to. But you made a comeback. Yeah.
So when I thought everything was starting to go on the upscale, the end of 2014, I tear my right shoulder. Well, let me back up 1 second. In 2014, I hit up my friend Eric Schwartz. And I said, Eric, I want to do some powerlifting. I'm not competing, and I want to get back to the grassroots of weightlifting. I just want to get back to like how it used to be in the 80s. I just want to go to the gym and just lift weights. And I went to Andre Skiba's gym in Carteret, New Jersey. Andre opened his doors for me, and he just asked me one thing: forget what you know about lifting weights, because now you're going to be a power lifter.
Yeah.
And I did. I was a good student, and I went in to like 2 or 3 meets. My numbers weren't fantastic, because
not. I mean,
no, they were good. They were good, but they weren't like, I wasn't a power lifter. I just it actually helped me for what was about to come. It was almost like the universe was putting me in powerlifting because it knew how fucked up shit was going to get.
Okay, good.
Yeah. So the end of 2014, I tear my right rotator cuff.
Wow.
And on New Year's Eve, 14-15, I have surgery, and they used 9 screws, 9 anchors, if you will, to repair my right shoulder.
Wow.
And I said to the doctor, I said, actually the first doctor I went to, I said, Doc, with all due respect, not one person in your waiting room is under the age of 70. And I'm an athlete. And there's a day I might want to compete again. Just give me that opportunity. And his exact words were, you're 45, 47 years old. You'll never compete again. You'll never train the way. I said, okay, well, thank you for this conversation. I'm done here. And I went to another doctor.
Oh,
and yeah, I went to another doctor, and he repaired my right shoulder. And this was at the same exact time as that I was transforming my personal training studio that I had for 12 years into a gym. So I was turning it over into a bigger, like a real gym, not a personal training studio.
Sure.
So I didn't get sleep. I'm stressed out. I'm taking Percocets. I'm all strung out on that. I'm not feeling good. I'm not eating. I lost my appetite. I can't train. I'm not myself. I don't have any outlet. So the whole first of the year, it was just disaster. And, the gym was getting off the ground. And then my left shoulder started bothering me a little bit. And in December, I tear the left shoulder.
Wow.
Now all over again. Got to do the whole thing all over again. And now I get my shoulder repaired on the left side in February of 16. Okay. And I got 5 anchors now.
Wow.
And it just it stripped me of my armor, if you will. It stripped me of everything. I mean, I was down to 180 pounds.
Wow.
I had a fat stomach. I was eating Skittles for dinner. That's where I was at.
Well, how much weight did you wind up losing? How much were you on your off season?
I was 219 when I went in for surgery the first day, the right shoulder.
Okay.
And by the second shoulder, I was around, a completely unrecognizable person. Like if you saw me, if you knew me, my nephew walked into my gym when he saw me, jaw dropped because he honestly thought I had cancer. Wow. That's the way I looked. Yeah. And God was stressed out too, because I had the business to run, wasn't getting any sleep, and I had no outlet. So, and I had a lot of business coming in from competitors that were coming in wanting my help. Sure. And I just, I lost and burned a lot of bridges at that time. Mm-hmm. And there was some really good people that came into my life that they don't even want to talk to me anymore because I was a dick. I was impatient. I was irritable, and personalities clashed, and if I could ever have the chance to talk to them, I would love to, but I don't think that's ever going to happen. So, moving forward, I try to, listen, I was going through some shit, but that's not an excuse. Right. I look back and I'm really hard on myself.
But it's respectable that you're accountable, because so many people wouldn't be. So many people wouldn't be accountable, and it's respectable that you are, because we all go through things like that. We all go through depression. We all go through anxiety. We all go through stress, and sometimes you don't even realize how you're treating somebody else because you're so self-indulged. And the fact that you recognized it and that you're accountable for it is respectable and decent on your part.
Well, thank you. And I just, they don't know who the real Vinny is. They only saw that glimpse of me. Mm-hmm. And I wish I can get a second chance to just even for a workout or something, not.
Well, send them this video when you're done.
Yeah. So I started putting the puzzle back together and thinking of, hey, this new classic division is now the IFBB has a new classic, and maybe I could do that. And I just wasn't thinking when I'm not like Kevin Levrone, but I acted like Kevin Levrone, where I didn't train after I got going year after year. I didn't need to train as much in the off season, and I can train into the nationals. And I was always in shape. And so I saw the condition I was in, and I'm like, I could be ready in October for the Masters Baltimore Pro. I could do this. Mm-hmm. Dumbass that I am. I still wasn't even thinking, So I go in, I look like shit. I take dead last. And, now it opened up a can of worms for me, because if you know me, I'm really, 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 really competitive. I can't go out that way. I'm not starting this journey all over again to end it that way. Gotcha. So I started to train again for the 2018 Masters Baltimore Pro. And I take dead last again.
Really?
2 years in a row. And so I'm like, all right, what the fuck?
Did you realize what you were doing wrong?
What am I doing wrong? Yeah, I was doing everything that I used to do.
I see.
So this is exactly how it went down. I came back. I don't know if it was the Sunday night game or the Monday night game, and the Patriots were playing. And up at this time, the talk was can Tom Brady still sustain a good career being older?
Oh, sure. And I remember that.
Yeah, this was 2018. And they did his whole special on him about him admitting he started to have a better off season and eating a better way in the off season and not taking his off season for granted. So it lit a light bulb, and I started to think, you know what? Monday I start. Monday I start for the Masters Pittsburgh Pro, and it was October, whatever, into Masters Pittsburgh Pro, and I started to just do something I've never done before in my bodybuilding career. I became a student of bodybuilding. I started to study anything and everything about whatever Charles Poliquin written. Mm-hmm. Okay, because he's one of he's since passed away, but all his writings about training are amazing.
Now, who was he? Who was he?
Charles Poliquin.
And I've actually never heard of him. So who
he's one of the world's famous trainers. He's
really?
Got a lot of Olympic trainers, a lot of Olympic athletes he trained, mm-hmm. and he had his own theories on. And I met him in person, so I kind of knew his background.
Okay.
And he was big on the 10x10 German volume training.
Okay. And
then I started to read about from that into Vince Garanda, how he put the 10x10 program. Right?
I know who that is.
Yeah. So it actually, Vince Garanda invented it back in the 50s. And then I just started to read about time under tension, 8x8, 6x6s, and, changing your workouts all the time. And you're older now. You can't train the way you used to train because today, like older guys, when we try to lift the same weights we used to lift, our tendons and ligaments come into play before our muscles. When we were younger, our tendons and ligaments were like, "Hey, bring on the pain. We could take it."
Yeah,
and the muscles will get a great pump.
Okay.
So I started to actually change the format of how I train. I would start to do all isolation work first, and compound movements last.
Oh, explain what the difference is, isolation versus compound.
So, all right. You're going to do legs. Compound movement would be squats, and an isolation movement would be your leg extensions, leg curls, right?
Okay.
All right. So I would go into the gym and do, say, 4 sets of leg extensions supersetted with leg curls. Mm-hmm. And it would be just easy, just to get a pump. And then once I got a pump, and back in the day, we called it pre-exhaust.
Yes.
Pre-exhaust. But I would take it a little differently, a little further, because I was supersetting quads and leg curls. Mm-hmm. And then I would probably go do leg press, and then a hack squat or a regular squat. Mm-hmm. Because I'm a little older and my knees can't take the beating right off the bat. My hips are, they don't get warmed up as fast. And
now, would you use that style for every body part you train? Because I'm actually interested in that, because I'm 45 years old.
I do that with everything I train now.
So now when you do chest, you do isolation stuff before bench?
Yeah. So
really,
first off, I never benched. Have I ever benched? Yes. But bench pressing has never been in my arsenal. It doesn't work for me.
Okay.
Since day one, it's never been a comfortable, I don't want to say like I want to be comfortable training. I don't mind being uncomfortable. What I mean is it's not a flowing movement for me. It doesn't do anything for me. Okay. I don't get a pump from it unless I have 135 pounds on the bar.
I see. Yeah.
So what I do is I'll do pec deck or dumbbell flies or cable flies first. Mm-hmm. And then I move into a dumbbell pressing movement. Okay. And then I move into an incline barbell or an incline Smith machine or an incline hammer, depending upon how I'm feeling.
And back is the same kind of thing. You would do either pull-ups or
oh my God,
lat pull-downs.
I just did back on Friday, and today's Sunday. And I'm so sore right now from just pulling and squeezing, because you have to think about, we can't see our back.
Right.
We have to feel our back. Mm-hmm. And when we're younger, we have so much, strength that we could just pull a ton of weight and it's not bothering us at all.
Yeah, that's true.
I can't, because as soon as I could probably go as high as a 90-pound dumbbell to do a 1-arm row. Mm-hmm. But I can handle 120. But that 120, that 100, that 10, 110, 100, 110, 120, mm-hmm. I can handle it. But all I feel it is where in the insertions of where the anchors were in my bicep tendon. Okay. And I can't do it. I can't do pull downs first. I got to do them at the end of the workout when I'm warmed up.
So
I'm a complete fucking mess.
Well, I mean, this will help a lot of older guys that are working out this spot, because I think a lot of guys go back to the gym after having so much time off and be like, oh yeah, I could do what I did in my 20s, and I don't think that's the case. I feel it myself. I mean, I don't have as many injuries as you had. I mean, I had some cervical spine fusion, whatnot, earlier in the year. Oh. And I see myself doing a lot more isolation movements. I don't really squat or deadlift much anymore. It bothers my lower back and so on and so forth, and the knees. So, but my strength has fallen, but my shape is still, I mean, I'm not like you or, an elite bodybuilder or whatnot, but I could still see the shape and the muscle and the pump and so on and so forth. But, there was a point I was squatting over 500. I'm not doing that anymore. So I think this is very important for guys over 40 and how to change and train and still, stay in shape without hurting yourself. This is truly important.
Totally can be done. I'm a product of it. I'm doing it. One of the biggest things. So I remember when Kevin Levrone was making his comeback, and the big thing was all these know-it-alls were saying, you can't keep your legs when you're in your 50s. And I'm like, I'm going to prove it that I can.
Yeah. Tell Dexter Jackson that.
Right. So I don't know if I saw a video clip or an article about Evan Centopani, and he was talking about Bulgarian split squats.
Sure.
And I never done them. I just thought those were some, you see a girl doing that in the corner somewhere.
Yes.
Right?
Yes. Yeah.
And I'm like, Bulgarian split squats are probably the hardest fucking exercise to do it when done right and done heavy.
Now explain that. Explain what it is. I mean, to the best of your ability.
So when you're one. So if you're using your left leg is forward. Your right foot is on a bench elevated, and you're squatting down.
Yeah, that is difficult.
And it's difficult. You have that balance, and I try to incorporate it throughout the whole off season. Like I rotate my workouts and exercises. I've never done shit like this before. I would just go into the gym in the past and just train. But now I have an actual, I actually write my workouts out for weeks in advance, and I go from there. Okay. So yeah, my legs were never a strong point, but they're my strongest point now. And I think it's because of the Bulgarian split squat.
Oh, okay.
Now I'm squatting 315, but I squatted 315 in the past. I didn't do anything different.
Right.
So I don't know. I think it's the time under tension has helped a lot.
Now, this whole change is all you. Did you ever confide in any trainers or pay a trainer, a guru or whatnot?
So up until this point, no, I didn't.
Okay.
I didn't.
That's also very impressive.
But recently, I'm the kind of guy that, okay, I took it to this level. Now I want to go to another level. So recently I've been talking to Brendan Ray.
Okay.
He's out of California. He's helped me a lot because he does a lot of time under tension with a lot of 3-second holds, things that I wasn't doing. So I added a little of that style to my workouts. I just teamed up with Dominic Cardone. He's from New York.
I don't know him, but I know of him. Yeah.
Yeah. So we've been talking about training and diet and everything. And it's just you got to really love this. I mean, you got to enjoy this shit. It's not,
you can't do this for as many years as you've been doing it and you don't like it. It's impossible.
Yeah.
It's got to be a passion. Absolutely.
I do have a passion for it. And, I heard a rumor, and I hear it all the time, that hopefully the Masters Olympia is coming back.
Oh, that would be good. I would like, yeah. Why not,
it would be great.
Because it was awesome back in the day.
Well, I think the sanction fee is the issue. I'm not 100% sure.
Sanction fee? What do you mean?
Well, each promoter has to pay a sanction fee for them to host a contest.
Oh,
you have to pay for it. Yeah.
Well, it was back in the day. I mean, Ferrigno had done it, and who was the other guy? Oh God, the guy that beat Ferrigno, actually, the guy from he trains at Venice.
Vince Taylor.
Vince Taylor did it. He was like the king of the Masters Olympia. But I'm thinking of oh God,
Jack Youngblood.
No, oh my God, remember him? I totally forgot about him. He passed away. Yeah. Obviously Dexter. But I'm thinking of
the Samoan. You're thinking about
Yeah, I can't remember the name, but because
I can't remember his name.
they had Ferrigno was supposed to win the Masters Olympia and he lost and he came in second to, and I forgot.
Robbie Robinson.
That's it. Robbie Robinson. That's the guy I'm thinking of. Robbie Robinson. Yeah.
Yeah.
But I would love to see that, man. That would be fantastic, you know? Because that was that was the one master contest that everybody had their eyes on.
Yeah. Yep. Yeah. So now we have the Masters Pittsburgh Pro.
Right.
And I did that in 19 and I was very, you know, everything was put together perfectly. I won not only the over 50, but I also won the over 40 in the same night in 2019. So
fantastic.
And then the pandemic hit and I chose not to do anything last year.
Yeah, I know.
Which I think was a blessing in disguise for me personally, because I applied my off season to be just like, I kept my weight at around 212, 215, where usually I'm 230, 235, and I'm a little sloppy. So I said, you know what, let me be able to be a little tighter and let me be in better health and just walking around weight, where once I started having the prep, like right now I'm 211, I think.
Yeah. And how tall are you?
I'm 5'6.5". Okay. Yeah. But I'm not wide like the short guys. I'm more like I have really long arms and really long legs.
Yeah. So you're streamlined.
But my torso is short. So
okay.
I look like I'm an open competitor. I don't mean it that way, but like I look more like the open guys because I have that structure. I don't have that wideness of the 212 guys. Right. So
what was the biggest you ever got to?
On stage?
No, on the off season.
Oh, 235.
And that was recently, or that was back in the 90s?
I got up to 235 last year.
Wow, really?
But I was like eating everything in sight to put the size back on.
Yeah.
You know, and then once the pandemic hit, I was like, you know what? I don't want this to go any further. I don't want to get to 240 or 245 and be sloppy.
Yeah.
So let me tone up a little. Let me turn it into something more positive here, and just had a better off season.
Now, what about like internally, your blood work, your kidneys, your heart, your liver?
I get my blood work done every 6 months. And last December, I had a calcium score test. I had, I can't even think of the name. I have a cardiologist, so I'm all set. I'm healthy. Yeah.
So you having that much muscle at how old are you now?
How old am I now? I'm 54.
So having that much muscle at 54 years old, luckily does not affect you internally. That's a blessing too, because even me, as soon as I was over 40 and I'm not nearly as muscular as you are, I've always all of a sudden my kidney function is high, my creatinine level is high, and I have to.
Yeah, my creatinine level wasn't high; it was normal.
That's fantastic, man. That's fantastic. Yeah, that's great.
Very, very fortunate.
Yeah.
You know, I had my blood work done a couple times where my diet was off. I love candy. That's one of my downfalls. You know, I love candy.
Halloween must be a shit show for you.
So my doctor said you're borderline. You know, your A1C1 is high, and you're borderline pre-diabetic. I'm like, no, I'm not. I just ate Twizzlers last night, and I got all the sugar in me. He's like, no, you got to clean up your diet. I go, my diet is really good. I forgot I had the blood work today, and blah blah blah. You know, so. Went back to him 8 weeks later, and it was like, what did you do? I'm like, I just cut the candy out. I was just eating shit.
Yeah.
So, but
I'd be surprised.
But now I'm 13 weeks out from the Masters Legion in Nevada, Reno, Nevada.
And what kind of the Masters bodybuilding shows don't get a lot of coverage, even on social media, YouTube channels, so on and so forth. All the major YouTube channels usually cover 212, the Open, Classic.
Yeah.
Are there any big names that you're going up against?
Vinny Galanti.
Yeah. I get it. Good point.
That's all I'm worried about.
Yeah. But
all jokes aside, there are some really good Masters competitors, and I'm on my toes. I'm paying attention to them. I know what they're doing. They know I'm going in it. So I think with me coming back from taking dead last at the Masters Baltimore Pro and then winning the Pittsburgh Masters, I think I set the bar a little higher with my conditioning, and they know what I could bring. So I know they're working harder. So I don't underestimate anybody. I mean, just because a guy just turned pro and he hasn't have the longevity I have, doesn't mean I could beat him. You know, he could very well beat me. So listen, there's a lot of good guys out there, and I'm training for this. You know, like I want to win it. But I'm realistic too. I mean, I know, you know, I won't make my mind up until the very end, because I could either do the open or the 212, but we'll see.
Now at 54 years old, you said?
Yes, sir.
How many more years you got in the tank? Or are you going to be like, oh God, I can't remember his name. There was a guy who competed into his 70s. Oh, Jesus.
Oh, jeez.
What the hell was his name? I can't remember, but I'll figure it out after this. But are you just going to keep on going, or do you have any end in sight whatsoever?
I don't have a date, if you will, to say I'm done. But like you said a moment ago about not getting the coverage that we should get, or we don't get with the Masters. Yeah. I'm hoping, like I reach out to a lot of the Masters promoters, and I get their flyers and I try to promote it on my social media, because I want to be active with that. And I would hope that a lot of the other Masters guys would, you know, follow my lead. Somebody had told me just recently that you're one of the bigger names in the sport going into the Masters. So do your part to promote it and get it noticed again. And that's what I've been doing. I've been trying to anyway, you know, just, you know, I know it's a business. Unfortunately, there's not a lot of money when guys aren't competing today guys never competed for the money anyway. There's not a lot of money to begin with in the Masters. Right.
Well, and bodybuilding in general, especially now, everything is, you really got to be your own business in order to make a living as a bodybuilder.
And you know, I'm used to that, 'cause that's what I did my whole career.
Right. Yeah, it wasn't. I'm trying to look for this guy's name, and I can't remember it. Of the bodybuilder, forget it. Of the bodybuilder who competed into his 70s and looked fantastic. You know.
Are you talking about Andreas Collin?
No, there's a black guy. I forgot his name. Beckles. Albert Beckles. Yes, he was phenomenal as he got older. He was amazing. Still, I don't know what age he competed up until, but fantastic athlete.
I think he was closer to late 50s.
Yeah.
I know that he won the Night of the Champions. He beat Rich Gaspari when really? I think he was 50 and Rich Gaspari was like 22.
That's that's amazing. Right. Yeah. He was a legend, Albert Beckles. That's right.
Yeah, that was back in 1985. So I think he's like 90 now.
Jesus. Wow.
He's alive. Yeah, he's doing good.
So when is the contest? 13 weeks?
October 22nd, the Masters Legion Pro.
And where is it?
In Reno, Nevada.
Oh, wow. Well, at least you get to go to Reno. That's nice.
Yeah.
So is there anything you want to plug? Do you have a business website, anything at all?
Just follow me, Vinny Galanti _ on Instagram. And that's it. I'm, you know, just doing my thing. I get people ready for shows. Lately it's mostly the over 40 crowd. All right. You know,
well, I'll make sure that your IG is in the comment section so people could get to it easy if anybody wants to get in shape or train for a contest. And we'll hopefully, hopefully my YouTube channel will blow up and you'll get more business.
Well, I appreciate you asking me to be on the show. I really do.
Oh, no, man. It was my pleasure. Like I said, man, you know, I'm a fan first. And like I said, you were one of the names that I was like, I had to get you on. Jason Arms was the first person. And I was like, I didn't think I was going to get Dave second. I didn't think I was going to get Dave at all. I was like, but I got to get Vinny on here.
No, Dave's a good guy. He'll do it.
Yeah, he did. It was fantastic too. I mean,
I got to get Dave to get me on his show now.
Yeah, I'm sure he will.
I don't think Dave has no interest in me.
Really? Did he help you out for content?
He did.
Yeah, because I'll send you the interview I did of him, because I had mentioned that the three names I wanted to get on, and he said that he helped you compete. I don't know what show he did. He helped you.
He helped me get my pro card.
Oh, okay, good.
Yeah. He helped me.
Oh, all right. Yeah, I'll send you that interview. It was pretty cool.
I'm kidding. I love Dave. He's a great guy, and I'm just teasing. I'm just joking around.
Yeah, Dave is a good dude. Listen, Dave was the first question I asked him wasn't about bodybuilding, wasn't about his career. First question I asked him is, how did you always find the ability to make money? Because he was always able to make money as an amateur. And I don't mean money. I'm talking like make a well living, even when he was an amateur. When other people are like, doing gay for pay and having sex with fruit, whatever they could do to get some extra bucks.
Listen, we're from the same mold. We, Dave, Dave and I have crossed our paths many times, but we're pretty much from the same area. He was from Long Island, I believe, and I'm in Jersey. We have the same work ethic, the same mindset. I'm not going to win a contest and then expect my phone to ring and have some contract waiting for me. It didn't work that way. It will never work that way.
Right.
Unless you're Hunter Labrada, born into Labrada nutrition.
Right.
It's not going to work. It's not going to happen. Dave knew that. He was smart. I knew that. And I learned a lot from Sean Ray and also from Monica Brandt. Those two together, I worked with Monica Brandt side by side. I watched her work. Not that she actually taught me anything.
Another legend.
But just to watch her work and see how she treated people, it was just a no-brainer. Just, Rich Gaspari told me a long time ago, the people you meet on the way up are the people you meet on the way down. And I apply that. And right now, I know I'm on my way down. I just want to leave a certain way, And
well, it seems like you're doing it, man, because just being honest and coming on here and talking about your ups and downs in your careers and saying there were times where you were not a good person and you hated yourself for it. To me, that's much respect and much love. That seriously, because
thank you.
The majority of people cannot be accountable. They really can't, and a majority of people blame everything on everybody else. And it's a truly good human being to the core that could say, all right, you know what? I did that person dirty and I shouldn't have, and it was my fault and I apologize.
Yeah, it was just, at the time. And again, I say it's not an excuse, but at the time I just had so much going on and people were just picking at me, wanting a piece of me to, help them. And I couldn't even help myself at the time. I was like, oh, I can't even help myself. I want to help you.
Yeah.
And, relationships ended badly. Situations were bad. And, if I ever cross paths with anyone, I'm expecting to get yelled at, and then we move on from there.
Punched in the face, but you
not punched in the face. Maybe get told off. That's okay.
All right, good. Well, listen, man, I really appreciate you coming on, man. This is really special for me because when I was a kid, when I was a kid, man, you were the man. It's the God's honest truth. You were the talk of the town. So, listen, much love, much respect. Good luck for you at your next show. We will definitely keep in touch. And once again, man, really appreciate it. And you know what? I might ask you, maybe when after you compete, I might ask you to come back. Maybe I'll ask you to come back with Jay. That would be fun. Are you friends with Jason Hans?
Absolutely.
Yeah, maybe when we could talk about the 90s and maybe do some talking about some new bodybuilders coming up. That would be pretty cool.
Yeah, absolutely.
All right, Vin. Thank you very much, man. I appreciate it.
Thank you for your time, man.
You got it. I'll talk to you soon.